The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Our feel good topic of the day is ocean sustainability and the growth of Bermuda's diving community with Weldon Wade of Guardians of the Reefs. We'll be bringing him into the studio to talk about that with Jackie and I. Our feel good vibe of the day is to celebrate one of Bermuda's junior golfers. But before we get into that, let's see who's tuned in with us and get ready for our feel good warm up. We have none other than Sean Smith. Good morning to you, Sean Smith, and good morning to Kathy Rogers. If you're just joining us, let us know in the comments. Give us a good morning, greetings. Tell us, hey, it's first thing in the morning. We're super excited to have you here. One of the things that Jackie and I saw yesterday on social media, because y'all know we like a little Twitter. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this ties nicely into our conversation with Weldon. We wanted to talk about these tiger sharks that popped up in St. David's because I don't know personally. I really, you guys know if you watch the show for any length of time, science was not my favorite subject back in the day. However, Jackie and I were talking about this before we got live, and I just want to know from the audience, what do you think about these tiger sharks? Like, is this a normal thing? Like, Jackie seems to think that it is normal. I'm on the fence. I don't know if this is normal or not. So let us know in the comments what you thought about these tiger sharks. Jackie and I can talk about it because, like I said, she seems to think that they usually pop up around her. Jack, like, tell the audience what you told me about these tiger sharks.
So, I work on a boat, and he likes to go lobster diving every so often. Oh, during season, obviously. And I remember he was telling me how he went out by himself. He dove down, got a lobster, came up, and he felt like, you get that gut feeling. And he looked down, and there was a tiger shark swimming around, just watching him. So, and that's one time. And then my cousin has a house right across from number 1 dock. And a few of her friends were sitting off at the dock, and they saw a tiger shark swim across with her pups. So, I mean, it's the ocean. Where else are they going to be? Like, we're jumping into their territory. So I'm not surprised. And I mean, a lot of people get paranoid about sharks, but most of the time they're just minding their own business, finding some fish to eat. So it's unfortunate that they pass, but I know somebody's going to make some good shark hash.
Absolutely. I don't eat the flash show. The shark hash will definitely be popping. You'll definitely see some coming around. So good morning to you, Rashida Govin. Thank you for joining us. So Carlton Fleming says it's normal. They can be found pretty much near shore on the South Shore. Okay. So that, I guess, makes sense. And then Jamal said it's the ocean. Where else they're going to be? This is true. Where else would they be? Did you expect to see them on land? I don't know.
Could you imagine, like, sharks just decide to walk on land? We are, that's the equivalent of like spiders learning how to fly. We are screwed, guys.
I'm moving to Mars. I would actually move to Mars. Even though women are from Venus, I would move to Mars on that day. We have this comment from Kathy Rogers. She asks, isn't it shark meat? That's a great question. Because I don't know. Okay.
It is. It's usually the lead up to cut match. Because I'm usually like hesitant to jump in the water because I've watched it too much, because I'll watch Shark Week, and then I'll go back and watch Jaws and Deep Blue Sea. And,
but you're setting yourself up to be scared of the water.
Early at night. During the day, it's whatever. At nighttime, I feel my dad used to be like, the moon's out, it's a full moon, the shark's out hunting. And as I was young, I'm like, I'm not good in the water. But then I'm sitting here like, don't they just hunt all the time?
It's like night, day. I don't think they care. They're hungry, they're hungry.
Like how we order food, like, I'm hungry, let me call in an order. Like, same difference.
Absolutely. So we have this comment from Jamal. He says, this is why I don't go into the ocean. You don't see sharks walking on Front Street, so I'm not swimming in their territory. You all can have that water. That's funny. And then Rashida Garvin says, they say sharks don't like the taste of people. I'm not going to test that theory. I'm not going to test that theory. This is just not a theory that I want to test. I actually want to bring so this picture right here, the second picture, like, I don't know what's in this poor animal's mouth. Like, is this something that the animal, like, I would be concerned to know if this is something the animal found in the ocean and thought it was
it's the
food.
crank.
The crank?
No, like to hold the mouth open, because I don't see anything in it. Go back. It might be something in its nose, but I thought it was something to hold its mouth open so you can see.
But it was something at the bottom. This one, but this right here, this doesn't look like a crank.
A crank?
Maybe I don't know about this stuff, y'all. Let us know in the comments if you know. Jackie and I are just trying to see, I'm trying to see these tiger sharks showing up in St. David's are normal according to the audience. And Jack, this is normal. I still don't want to be out there testing the sharks of whether they would eat us or not because we're humans. I don't care.
But yeah,
you can.
I remember we had a charter last year and we were out. What is it called? Outer Reef, I think it's called. I could be wrong. But off of North Shore, and we were out there, and my boss Chris was just like, if you see anything, like he made me stand at the front, and I was just like, dude, he's just like, you're keeping an eye out, right? I'm like, yeah, for jellyfish, and he was just like, and sharks, and I laughed. He was just like, no, but seriously, keep an eye out, and I was just like, I don't know if you're joking or not. He's like, nope, I'm serious. Keep an eye out. If you see anything, you scream. And I'm like, if I see anything, I am absolutely screaming, and I'm going to sit there and watch and be like, okay, everybody out the water, like, let's go. But where's my phone? Because I've never seen one. I want to go, like, I'd go shark swimming in a cage.
But
safely.
see, no. See, that's the thing about, I don't like any animals in captivity, to be honest. I feel like when they're in captivity, they like hotel quarantine, they get a little different when it comes to
South Africa off the coast in a boat, they drop the over, you jump in.
Oh, so you're in the cage and the sharks are gonna come play with you? No, that looks like bait. No, thank you. Jackie, you can have that. You can send me the videos of your GoPro video of you doing that, and I'll watch in amazement. But I'll be in the top of the boat just praying that they pull you back up safely. So Kathy Rogers says shark hatch just in time for a cup match.
Yeah.
And Janae Pereira Edna says some sharks do eat humans. I'd be interested to know which sharks eat humans because either way, I don't care. Either way, I don't want to hang with these sharks. But I would be interested to know what species, right? That's what it is. What species of shark? I hope that's right. Jesus, I was
gonna say we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, I got
always say breed.
The highest I got in science was probably a B.
That's good.
But that's probably because my friends helped me out because science was not my thing. Science was not my thing. So we have a comment here from Sean Smith, Jack.
Tiger sharks pretty much eat anything in the water, rubber tire, plastic, etc. And so maybe it is.
Maybe they do. I'm really upset if that is like, some type of metal that the shark thought was food and could have possibly caused its passing or aided in it. Maybe it was able to, I don't know. Either way, I'm not hanging out with the sharks in St. David's, South Shore, North Shore, West End, East End. I'm not hanging out with the sharks. That's it. But Jackie might. We're going to take a quick commercial break before we get into our feel-good vibe of the day, where Jackie and I will bring in Weldon Wade of Guardians of the Reef into the studio to discuss ocean sustainability and growing Bermuda's diving community. Make sure you do not go anywhere. Jackie and I will be right back with Weldon Wade.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And if you're just joining us, we are getting ready to start our feel-good topic of the day, which is on ocean sustainability and the growth of Bermuda's diving community with Weldon Wade of Guardians of the Reef. Weldon is the founder of Guardians of the Reef and Bermuda's first and only Bermudian certified free diver. We're going to get into that because I don't know what the difference is between a free diver and like a professional diver. Like, is there a difference? So I'm going to bring Weldon into the conversation right now. Good morning, Weldon. Welcome to Good Day Bermuda. Jacky and I think you're muted.
Good. All right, there we go.
There you go.
Good morning, everybody. We got feel good vibes. Turn on your microphone. How's everybody doing? You guys are good?
We are great. So, Weldon, I actually want to ask you.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I actually wanted to ask you your thoughts on the whole tiger shark conversation, because Jacky and I have still never heard like.
Yeah. So we can spend an entire hour talking about sharks, and then hit on the topics that we intend to with ocean conservation, protection, growing the diving community. Like most people, I was out there doing my thing and got all these forwarded photographs of the dead tiger sharks. I didn't get any backstory, but I just figured, they're fishermen that caught tiger sharks. Now, I'm quite unique in the sense that I feel that tigers are certainly way more valuable alive than dead. Shout out to the Bermuda Shark Project, the late Neil Burney, and certainly Choi Ming, who's continuing the wonderful work on shining a positive light on tiger sharks and how important sharks are to our ecosystem. So like Sean hinted on in the comments, tiger sharks pretty much eat anything and everything in terms of anything floating in the ocean, anything that looks dead or dying or decayed. The tiger shark will keep the ocean clean like other things do. But Terri, like you, I don't eat tiger shark. I don't eat fish that does not have scales. And sharks are just they're scavengers of the sea. Most of them. There's many different species of shark, and in Bermuda there are quite a few that will pass by our platform, beyond the platform, and it's the ocean, right? That's where sharks belong. So I'm looking at getting a T-shirt made up, Jacky, about it's the ocean. It's the ocean. Where else would they be? And
I love it.
Shout out to Jamal. I mean, I'm trying to get Jamal in the water the next time he's on the island. At least at Admiralty Cove there, put his eyes underwater, put a mask on, and look down. So I say all that sort of monologue to say that I do travel around the region, up into the Bahamas and other islands where the primary purpose was to swim with sharks, not in a cage, where the humans aren't in a cage. So Bahamas, down there, you won't ever find a photograph of a hammerhead in the wild on the front page of the paper. They're just there, right? So there's a dive operator down in the Bahamas that will take the three of us, plus Sean and Jamal, on a scuba diving trip. We'll go down and form a nice big circle on our knees, and they're feeding Caribbean reef sharks. Now, we can kind of go on about the practice of humans feeding sharks in the ocean and whatnot, but it's a very popular attraction. I got some videos of that experience on my social, and I paid a lot of money like everybody else does to have these in-water encounters with sharks. And the Bermudians, culturally, like when we think of sharks, we think of this mindless predator that will come at you and eat you. There's this fear that Hollywood, Jacky, you touched on Shark Week, which was last week. Shout out to Shark Week.
Oh, last week.
Shout out to Shark Week. And all the wonderful content and information that does come out of Shark Week. But Hollywood has certainly played on our fears, starting with Peter Benchley's Jaws and the music and the mechanical shark and eating the boat and stuff. And I mean, I own a boat, but you can always use a bigger boat to avoid these things that are in the ocean. Most people are afraid of like the Bermuda Triangle and the sea monsters that are out there that are still pulling boats down and whatnot. But so I guess to answer your question, there are sharks in the ocean, obviously. and Bermudians, we do fish sharks for their shark hash. Their numbers are low. They're harvested for their meat here and different parts, and then in other areas of the world, sharks are harvested for their fins, for the shark fin trade. So I'm part of a cohort, guys, that are looking to put protection of sharks in place, at least some degree of protection, so that we have these predators, these apex predators in our waters to keep the ecosystem in balance. So was I happy when I saw those two tiger sharks? No, I'd rather see them alive in the wild, doing what they're supposed to do. And in fact, I'm one of many, I think, more than you might know, that when the baby mako shark was sighted in the harbor, and when the hammerhead was sighted off of Shelly Bay, like I'm dashing home to get my kit, to get my dive gear, to get in the water. And, just swim with the shark, as long as you don't look, dead, dying, or dumb. I think Dr. Bernie used to say, the shark will leave you alone. Just keep your eye on it. Have a little stick. I've been swimming with sharks in Bermuda waters myself, thanks to a wonderful opportunity with Chris Burville and Choi. We were able to get out to Challenger and swim in the deep blue sea with dozens of sharks, which was quite dope.
That is awesome. Listen, I'm like,
He
wait,
said dumb.
this is it.
There's so many out there, though, so they should just not go swimming. Anywho.
No,
next
feel
question.
good vibes, guys. Feel good vibes. Yes.
Yes, of course. So, Weldon, can you let us know a little bit about your educational background? Like, did you study marine science and biology before you got into this, or was it more like a personal passion or something that you just picked up along the way?
Dope. Great question, Terri. Thank you so much. So my background, for those of you that know me, and whether you're watching this on the live, drop a comment. If you're watching this on replay, hello. I say that to encourage that my background is actually IT. I come from an innovation and technology background, started my own IT consulting company when I graduated from high school. So I pretty much ran with that for 2 decades. I took up scuba diving sort of as a bucket list item around 2007, 2008, and I immediately fell in love with the ocean. And from that point on, I've been working quite tirelessly and quite unapologetically to get as many Bermudians to put their eyes underwater as possible, as many Bermudians as possible. I never forget that first experience of being down in about 20 feet of water, my knees in the thick sand. And, as soon as you settle on the bottom, you sort of kick the sand up, and there are fish coming around to feed on all the critters that you've disturbed, that they'll pick away at. And it was just amazing. It was crystal clear water, pink sand all around us, and the healthiest reef in the region. So shortly after doing that dive and recognizing that the people around me didn't look like me, they weren't Bermudian, I started to ask a couple of questions. And then I decided to start, at that time it was Bermuda Ocean Explorers, to create purposeful events to bring divers together and keep divers diving. And that was really, really, in essence, just having these community events to pick up trash from the ocean and hunt invasive lionfish. So I rebranded. I switched the name up to Guardians of the Reef to do more regional work. Certainly taking an organization sort of global with a name like Bermuda Ocean Explorers was a bit tough. So I rebranded, and now I'm doing work all across the region to just make people more aware of the threats of not just ocean pollution and marine debris, but invasive species such as the invasive lionfish. So it gives divers something to do that's pretty dope. And if we're hunting lionfish, which is edible, you can have a dinner, fresh fish, which is really, really good, not oily. The lionfish do have scales, but 18 venomous spines too. So you can't eat lionfish once you cut all the spines off to make it like any other fish. And then you can bake it. You can do a little curry. You can do I do this like mango, panko crusted coconut thing. It's wicked. But yeah, this is something I can talk about, you guys, at length and push those feel good vibes.
Well, I'm going to cut you off because I do have a question. You were talking about beach cleanups, ocean cleanups, and I just want you to touch on how important that is a little bit more. But I also want to ask how do these shipwrecks and our tourist attractions actually differ from that? Because it still comes under, to me, as ocean pollution. So,
okay, I mean, what I'll say real quick is that I correlate ocean health and human health as being very, very intricately and intimately connected. The health of the ocean is important to us. It provides so much for us in terms of just food and protection from Bermuda in context, protection from swells and that kind of thing. So it does a lot for us. And there's an economic valuation that you can find online. So there's a lot going on that speaks to ocean health and what it does for us as humans and us as Bermudians in Bermuda. So that's a long topic. But Bermuda is also, to answer your second question, the shipwreck capital of the Atlantic. So, we were found back in 1609, essentially by shipwreck. Those guys wrecked right off the new Regis, and everyone survived. They made it back on land. They took what they found and the scraps from the ship and built 2 ships and continued their journey. But it is a really, really big draw for divers around the world to come to Bermuda and explore our wrecks, our archaeologically significant wrecks, which many of them just have ballast stones left, or some wrecks that were, in fact, purposefully sunk as attractions for divers to come and explore, namely the Hermes wreck, the Niobe Corinthian wreck to our north, but then significant wrecks would sort of be the Mary Celeste is quite nice. It's got a great story to it. It's a lot. It's a lot to see, and there is a lot to do. Marine debris, essentially, it's not good. All right, most of it is plastic, and what I love to go for is the stuff that does not float. Most of the debris that enters the ocean, it doesn't float, and even if it does, it'll get biomass and algae and things build up on it, which will sink it. Barnacles too, and it'll sink. So I tend to encourage scuba divers, free divers, and snorkelers to pick up what they find on the bottom. And real quick, I'm the only Bermudian that's certified as a free diver, scuba diver, and closed circuit rebreather diver. So shout out to all the free divers that are on the stream. There are quite a handful of certified free divers in Bermuda, but I decided to be as diverse as possible and learn all the streams available, so I can choose which discipline is best for the job. And
that's wicked.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. The technical stuff, the rebreather, is pretty cool. It's sort of what astronauts use to breathe in space, but this apparatus allows you to breathe underwater and not make any bubbles. So you're recirculating your air, and it's really cool. I did some training in St. Croix recently, which is pretty dope.
That sounds awesome. So I actually have a comment here for you, Weldon, from Sean Smith. So he says, Wade, how many times did you get shocked by a circuit board to think I will be swimming with sharks? I will do the diving with you when I return, but not with the sharks. Just got to make that very clear. Smith. He says that you can swim faster than him. So that's why he doesn't want to do the sharks.
Well, what we'll do, we'll skip the sharks. And I'll grab my lights and we'll go through that tunnel down at Admiralty Park Beach. That's a pretty dope experience.
I'm coming.
It's dope.
We have definitely just invited ourselves.
It's a lot to see. The ocean's a beautiful place. It's incredible. It's our life support system, and it's just important we recognize that. And I'm putting this in the Bermuda context. Like, I had the toss when I was a kid. That's how I learned how to swim at Horseshoe Bay. My dad threw me into the ocean. That's my first living memory. Guys, in Bermuda, the ocean is never more than a mile away. It's some of the most beautiful water in the world. People fly here and spend a lot of money to come and have that visual experience. That when I would catch the bus from St. George's to school out in Warwick, like you're passing this every day, and I took it for granted for such a really, really long time. So to your listenership, I would just say appreciate it. We're the jewel of the Atlantic. There's a lot to see and do. It's a beautiful place here. Don't take it for granted. Go walk the beach, pick up trash if you see it, get involved, grab some snorkel kit. The most phenomenal experiences I've had in the water have been snorkeling with basic kit you can pick up anywhere, basic mask, snorkel, and fins. Float on the surface, go to Tobacco Bay, go to John Smith Bay, go to Church Bay, and just see what's below. It is really, really beautiful. Don't wait, like I did, for a bucket list to check off before you explore your backyard. Please, if there's anything you do this summer, especially while it's warm, do it. And for me, I did make a little note about the night swims. I do swim at night. It is gorgeous. And if you're lucky, if we were to go to Clarence Cove, which is the name of the beach at Admiralty Park, the water may be bioluminescence, which is phenomenal. So as you move your hands through the water and as you're kicking and throwing rocks and whatnot, the water will glow. So yeah, it's a lot going on out there. It's very, very beautiful. I do have these flashlights that can go underwater, which is quite nice. It lights up things quite cool. But yeah, Clarence Cove in the glow water is pretty dope.
That sounds awesome. I already, okay, that's like now my summer bucket list. I was actually supposed to start diving this summer, guys. I haven't started it yet, but I did reach out to Weldon to try to do the whole
We're doing something.
diving thing, but I just haven't gotten it yet. So you probably will see by the end of the summer, I'll have some diving video and I'll be like, look, Jack, I did it.
We will definitely go snorkeling.
Oh, you go come with me? I'm going to be right there with you.
Okay, that's even better. That's even better.
We're going snorkeling. We're definitely going snorkeling.
So we have a question here from Carlton Fleming for you, Weldon. He says, since there wasn't a lot of activity in the water last year, has there been an increase in the fish stock? So
hello, Mr. Fleming. I know a few Flemings. They're all very, very good peoples. Yeah. So from what I've seen in taking tourists around and showcasing our reef with eco tours or going out with any of the few local dive operators, as well as just private diving that I do, I have seen more fish, more juveniles, but I don't know, I mean, give the ocean a rest for a year and a half. I would think that it is a very resilient ecosystem. And certainly if pressure is taken away for a period of time, then you'll certainly see, fish and other critters start to increase. In fact, that kind of speaks to the work that I do full time. I'm communications coordinator for something called the Bermuda Ocean Prosperity Program. Shout out to my team, both here and abroad, that are working tirelessly to protect 20% of our EEZ. So you can search that online when you get a chance. So, but yeah, that's sort of what I do and what I'm working hard at to protect the ocean, so that we have these areas of our ocean space where they're just left untouched, and the nature can do its thing without humans coming along and doing different things.
Absolutely. So Jack, we have a question here from Nashika Trot for Weldon.
Have you noticed an increase in masks in the water since COVID? If so, how can we educate our community about this?
Hello, Miss Trot. Nice to see you on the live. I have not seen that many masks floating in the ocean as a result of like PPE in the sea. I do see a heck of a lot of it on land. I do although like beach cleanups that I do, which are quite often with Guardians of the Reef or with BOP or other organizations, we just find tons of PPE on land that would, should the wind pick up, blow it into the ocean. But land, lots of masks and gloves everywhere still, unfortunately. In the ocean, not so much. I tend to just find just heavy plastics and discarded fishing gear and lots of monofilament and cans and bottles and stuff like that. So an increase in fish a little bit, I'd say. There's no science on that from me. I just can tell you only what I see. But not masks, not the sort of disposable masks that we'll use and then throw away. But certainly single-use plastics for sure, utensils and bottles and cups and stuff like that.
One thing I can say, because I did a beach run on Sunday and I did see reusable masks. Like I saw a reusable mask, like lots of those trail. Like, and I was like, well, it's supposed to be reusable. Isn't the point for it to not be disposed of? But then it's like I didn't have like anything to really pick it up with. So it's kind of like I didn't want to leave it there. But then it's also like you don't want to pick it up because then you're like, there's no like, if you're running on the beach away from like Horseshoe, you don't have the option to like go back and wash your hands. So you're like, I hope someone else has the heart to pick up this thing if they came with the right equipment. But I did see disposables, and I mean non-disposable masks, and I thought that was really interesting and kind of made me feel like we're not taking this very seriously as a collective.
I know, and to speak to that, Terry, I do see. I almost like, and now that you brought it up, I do see more reusable masks on the side of the road and like kind of in the gutters and stuff like that than the disposables. It's kind of weird, but that's what I see the most. I'm like, oh, look at that. And it stands out, as I'm riding. Sort of when it comes to trash in general, once you kind of switch on and you kind of start looking for it, especially if you make it a contest, like picking up bottle caps on the beach, I'll kind of see how many I can pick up, or those glow sticks, or just debris in general. Once you kind of your mind switches on, you can't not see it. And yeah, as I'm riding my scooter or driving my car, I'm looking at how clean the roads are, and certainly walking the beach or going diving, how clean the shore is. Yeah, it's a lot of trash out there. Trash can be found pretty much everywhere, in our caves, on our shoreline, in our numerous beaches and bays that are typically quite beautiful. Shout out to like the parks department that does their best to rake the beaches of seaweed and debris to keep them as clean as they can. But not every beach you can get a tractor to, so it's up to us to leave with everything we came with and pick up trash, even though it might not be yours. It is our ocean. We're all connected by the ocean. It is our life support system. So even if you just pick up a handful of stuff and put it in the trash, we'll dispose of it as best that we can. And waste management is a whole nother topic, which it's a can of worms I won't open up right now. But we're doing the best of what we have. And, some may say like build it while you fly. But I just think that we do have a lot of work to do, and the work is being done.
Absolutely. So we have this question from Sean Smith, because earlier you mentioned about, if you catch lionfish, you can cut off the scales and cook it yourself. So do you happen to know how many restaurants have lionfish on their menu today? If any?
Yeah, I mean, Wahoo's may have lionfish on their menu. This is quite it's a bit like I can talk to this topic for quite some time. But there are permitted fishermen that can spear lionfish and provide their supply to restaurants and grocery stores. And right now, typically, and this speaks to what we talked about earlier, typically during the summer, lionfish are actually quite, they're hard to find for one reason or another. But because they were sort of allowed to not be kept in check for such a long time due to the pandemic, we are finding lionfish on our reef now. So if one of the permitted lionfish cullers or any commercial fisherman was to catch a lionfish, they can supply that to a restaurant and grocery stores. But the issue is not so much demand, because people are switched on to it. We talk enough about it. It's really the supply that's the issue here. So yeah, it might be a bit challenging to get lionfish today if that's what you wanted, unless you are a snorkeler or a free diver and you've done the lionfish permit course and you have the spear and the equipment to get out and get your own, or a guy that has all that and they can get out there for you. But that's kind of how Bermuda works. If you want some fresh lobster, if you eat lobster, it's you either go up on Trimingham Hill or a guy that can share one of his two that he's permitted or she's permitted per day with you. So that's kind of how it is around here sometimes with certain things. You got to know a guy or do it yourself to get it done.
Totally agree.
Talk about knowing a guy. I want to get into scuba diving. Obviously, Terri wants to. But what's the difference between scuba diving, free diving? And I know the difference with snorkeling. But what's the process for us? Like, how long will it take?
Well, I think the genesis of getting into ocean exploration with any of the disciplines would be being comfortable in the water as a swimmer. Now, you're not doing Olympic level swimming, but as long as you can get in the water, you can tread water, you can swim a little ways, even if it's doggy paddling, then you're sort of good to go. So if you want to get into scuba, we've got a number of local dive shops in Bermuda, and they're all around the world, different agencies and different shops where you can learn how to scuba dive. And it's pretty dope. You put a tank on that's filled with air, and you've got all the regulators and your BCD, and which just adjusts your buoyancy depending on your weight. And yeah, you can go down and stay down. Whereas free diving, you have to be reasonably good at taking a deep breath and holding it and doing a duck dive and getting down to depth, whatever depth is comfortable for you. So some people will ask, how long can you hold your breath, or how deep do you have to go? And free diving is a lifestyle. It is a competitive sport as well. So you can dabble around in 10 feet of water and do some really good stuff, whether it's picking up trash or just exploring or culling lionfish and hunting lobsters. And scuba. Yeah, Bermuda's a very safe place to learn how to scuba dive and to dive as well. Most of our wrecks and reefs are in water that's shallower than 100 feet. So to me, 0 to 130 is like shallow. And after 130 feet, that's what I consider to be deep water. But yeah, grab gear, call one of the dive shops. Or if you're a big traveler, once kind of things get a little bit more, easy, feel free to go somewhere and learn how to dive there. But right now the water is warm, it's gorgeous, and the dive operators are keen to have you come by and learn how to both free dive and scuba dive. Blue water divers do have a free diving instructor on tap.
That is awesome. Now I'm looking at the time and I'm like, there's so much more that Jacky and I wanted to obviously get into, but I want to bring this comment, Ian, because I feel like this comment is very important for us to talk about. So Neil Gunn says, Jacky, if Weldon is taking you diving, I want to see him with a tennis racket in his hand.
Oh, Neil jumped on the line. Okay.
So we're going to have not only Jacky and I's experience in the water, Weldon's experience on the court. So Neil, we will have that for you. Do not worry. We're going to make sure that we get Weldon onto a court with Jacky and I. Well, me and Weldon on the court with Jacky, because I don't know anything about tennis either. So this is definitely this is gonna be so fun. So Weldon, before you get out of here, we do want to ask, how can the audience connect with you online? What social media platforms are you on if they're interested in also learning how to dive or just learn a little bit more about how they can continue to help, protect our ocean?
You know what? We have some of the oldest legislation for conservation and ocean protection by way of our green sea turtles. And there's a lot going on in the sea turtle space. But I say all that to say that we're doing a really good job at educating the community, especially the kids. There's a lot of programs out there for the kids, whether it's the Kids on the Reef program, the wonderful program at BUEI, or all the wonderful programs that the aquarium have for kids, Water Start. Goodness, the Living Reefs Foundation. There's so much going on out there that I guess if you're not in the space, you kind of think like, oh, yeah, it's a little bit happening. But I'm in it. This is what I do. This is my lifestyle. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes if this isn't the space that you sort of occupy. Lot to learn, lot to see and do. Lots of organizations doing really, really, really dope work. But yeah, I would just say I'm all across social. I'm the easiest guy to find. Google Weldon Wade and you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm even on TikTok. I love to post stuff to my Instagram feed just to inspire people to really come to Bermuda. So it's a feed that's curated to get people from all around the world interested and keen to come to Bermuda and explore with me or with one of the local dive shops or on their own. You can just go off any one of our South Shore beaches or even Admiralty in that area and see really, really cool stuff along the reef. So yeah, I love doing what I do. I love speaking to kids and adults alike about the ocean and how important it is to us, and encourage everybody to just put your eyes underwater. Perfect. Run out to wherever. I don't want to name names, but run out to wherever. Grab a mask, snorkel, and fins, and get out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Awesome. Thank you once again, Weldon, for joining us bright and early to bring some feel-good vibes about the ocean to our audience. We look forward to possibly having you back, but we want to say thank you once again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day, you guys.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back with our feel-good wind down, and we're going to give you our feel-good vibe of the day. So make sure you do not go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. Make sure that you give us a care reaction if you're watching us on Facebook, because as you know, that's Jacky and I's favorite. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. And to all of our treeps over there on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts. We're going to get into our feel-good vibe of the day. But before we do that, let us know in the comments some of your key takeaways from our conversation with Weldon. One of my key takeaways is that Jacky and I are going diving together this summer, and it's going to be lit.
Epic.
Jack, are you excited about that? I'm really ready.
I am, because I love to free swim. So when I go on boats or whatever, I don't use noodles.
Right.
It's just not as fun for the experience. And I love to dive down, and I'll scoop up the jellyfish. Mm-hmm. I'll pick up the sea cucumbers. So I'm super excited.
And we have a comment here from Larry Marshall. He says, you can't appreciate Bermuda's marine beauty until you free dive. So I'm really excited to do that as well. And then Carmen Mitchell-Jones says, excellent sharing of information. So we do think that you all enjoyed that conversation with with Weldon, make sure you let us know in the comment. Our feel good vibe of the day is not necessarily related to the ocean. We actually did a dive feel good vibe last week, and I'm kind of thinking we should have held it for today, but that's okay, because today we want to celebrate the fact that the Optimist International Golf Championship 2021 teed off, I guess you could say, on July 14th, and it continues until July 29th. There is a Bermudian who is playing in that tournament. His name is Oliver. He waved the Bermuda flag during the opening ceremony at Doral in Miami. I believe it was on, what's today? The 20th. So it would have been last week. It would have been last week when they kind of did the opening ceremony, or maybe last weekend. We do want to wish him good luck in the tournament. Let us know in the comments if there's anyone around the world, anyone in Bermuda that is doing really amazing things, whether it's in sports, whether it's in the ocean, whether it's just in general. Let us know, because we would love to feature them for our feel good vibe of the day. We hope that you're ready to make it a great one today. We want to thank you once again for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. We trust that we will see you tomorrow for another feel good conversation. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.